Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a night that's already buzzing with the kind of star power that could light up the London skyline. I'm your host, Graham Norton, and oh boy, do we have a lineup tonight that's straight out of a Hollywood dream. Or perhaps a cheeky British comedy with a twist of drama. First up, the one and only Sir Michael Caine, the man whose Cockney charm has graced screens from Alfie to The Dark Knight. And tonight he's here to chat about his latest memoir that's got everyone talking. Blowing the bloody doors off, and other lessons in life. Michael's wisdom is like a fine wine, aged to perfection, full of stories that make you laugh, cry, and question your own life choices. And joining him on this red velvet sofa of revelations are some absolute heavyweights. Sally Field, the two-time Oscar darling who's spilling the beans in her raw autobiography, In Pieces, sharing tales of triumph and heartbreak that remind us why she's the queen of heartfelt roles. Then there's Chris Pine, our Star Trek heartthrob turned historical warrior in Netflix's Outlaw King, where he swaps phasers for claymores, and let me tell you, the beard alone is worth the subscription. And don't get me started on Rami Malek, who's channeling Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, with such electric energy that you'll feel the We Will Rock You stomps in your soul. Rounding out the evening with musical fire is the enigmatic Heloise Lettissier, a.k.a. Christine and the Queens, ready to perform her hit, $5, and infuse the studio with that irresistible French pop swagger. The air is thick with anticipation, the lights are low, and the audience is primed for anecdotes that could rival any blockbuster script. As the applause swells like a tidal wave, I lean into the microphone with my trademark grin, ready to dive into the chaos of celebrity confessions. As the laughter from Chris's kilt quip fades into a comfortable hum, I turn back to you, Michael, with that glint of mischief that's my stock in trade, ready to peel back another layer of your storied life. The studio lights catch the silver in your hair, casting you as the elder statesman of this eclectic court, and the audience adores it. The way you command the space without raising your voice, a masterclass in understated power. Sir Michael, let's talk legacy for a moment. You've seen it all, from swinging 60s London to superhero capes in Nolan's Batcave. But in your memoir, there's this poignant bit about the changing face of acting, how the craft's being diluted by algorithms and influencers. Do you worry the next generation's losing the soul of it? Your response starts measured, a nod to the old days when talent trumped trends, praising Rami's Mercury metamorphosis as a rare spark in the digital den. The young actor blushes, deflecting with a humble shrug, but there's warmth in the exchange, a passing of the torch that has the crowd cooing. Sally leans in, her voice soft but steel-edged, sharing how writing In Pieces forced her to confront the industry's ghosts. Abuse, ageism, the relentless grind that chews up dreams and spits out survivors. Her candor lands like a gentle thunderclap, drawing nods from Chris, who's navigated the franchise frenzy with a philosopher's calm, admitting the pressure to be brandyable over brilliant. Christine, ever the poet, interjects with a lyric from her new track, likening fame to a $5 dream that's both liberating and illusory, her accent curling around the words like smoke. The sofa feels alive now, a confessional circle where barbs are sheathed in empathy, and for a moment, it's pure magic, raw, real, the kind of television that lingers long after the credits roll. The tension coils like a spring in a spy thriller as your words hang in the air. Michael, a challenge wrapped in wisdom that's got the studio on a knife's edge. I flash my best disarming smile, the one that's diffused diplomatic dinners gone awry, and pivot to Sally, hoping her grace can douse the flames. Sally, your book's a brave dive into the personal, abuse, love, the mess of it all. How did bearing that soul feel, especially when the industry's so quick to judge? She exhales, a small smile breaking through, recounting the catharsis of penning pages that healed old wounds. Her voice a soothing balm that momentarily eases the room's pulse. The audience sighs in collective relief, leaning into her tale of resilience, from Gidget's beach waves to Norma's steel in steel magnolias. Proving age is just a number when you've got fire in your veins. Chris jumps in with admiration, sharing how her In Pieces inspired his own reflections on vulnerability in Outlaw King, where battle scars, literal and figurative, mirror the emotional ones we all carry. It's a beautiful detour, this feminine fortitude thread, pulling us from the brink, and Rami adds his layer, speaking to the isolation of playing icons like Freddie, where every note sung is a piece of self-surrendered. Christine, sensing the shift, hums a bar of empathy-laced melody, her presence a reminder that art's true power lies in connection, not conquest. For a beat, harmony reigns, the sofa a sanctuary where stars align, vulnerabilities voiced without verdict, laughter bubbling up as Sally teases Graham about my own hidden memoirs of hosting mishaps. The crowd relaxes, sips their drinks, believing the storm clouds have parted. But you, Michael, aren't done. Your silence has been brewing. And as the spotlight swings back, you interject with a growl that's pure Alfie edge. Judgment? The industry's full of it, Graham, judging accents like mine as quaint while posh boys get the crowns. With the room teetering on the precipice of pandemonium, I seize the reins with the producer's cue in my ear, steering toward lighter waters before the BBC switchboard melts down. All right, let's take a breath and talk tunes. Christine, your $5 is climbing charts like it's got rocket boots. What's the story behind that beat that's got us all moving? Her response is a revelation, a poetic unraveling of Parisian nights and queer anthems. Her voice weaving French flair with universal ache that captivates the crowd, pulling them from the fray like a siren's call. The audience sways, some humming along, as she describes the song's birth in a tiny studio, dollars symbolizing the small rebellions that topple empires of expectation. It's a masterstroke, this musical interlude, diffusing the heat as Rami lights up, confessing how Queen's anthems fueled his prep for Bohemian Rhapsody, mimicking a headbang that draws whoops and whistles. Chris piles on with a tale of blasting classic rock on the Outlaw King set to psych up for muddy melees, his boyish grin infectious, reminding everyone why we tune in, for the joy amid the jaw-droppers. Even Sally smiles wider, linking it to her Norma Ray days, striking for rights with songs as shields, her story a bridge back to solidarity. You, Michael, seem to soften in the melody's embrace, nodding along with a wry comment on how music was the great equalizer in your Hackney youth, dodging bombs to Beatles beats. The tension ebbs, laughter returning like a tide receding, and for a glorious stretch, the sofa sinks, stories sinking like harmonies in a hit single. But as Christine wraps her preview, thanking the room with elegant poise, I foolishly circle back to the hot coal. Michael, your book's full of musical nods too, from wartime wireless to Oscar nights. Chaos crests as your tirade thunders on. Michael, the studio a battlefield where words are shrapnel and the sofa's no man's land. The audience's roar is a living beast, cheering your every syllable like it's the climax of Zulu. Your voice a war cry for the overlooked, the ordinary Joes who've built empires only to be evicted from them. Graham, you lot in your ivory towers, laughing at us while we bleed for the breaks. It's not comedy, it's complicity. The accusation slices deep, my smile cracking under the weight, the host's armor pierced by a peer who's earned his ire. Sally's hand on your knee is a plea for peace, her eyes pleading as she recounts her own battles with studio suits who dismissed her depth for doll-like roles. But even her eloquence can't quell the quake. Chris, the diplomat, suggests a toast to shared struggles, raising an imaginary glass, but it falls flat amid the furor, his charm no match for the maelstrom. Rami, fueled by Freddie's fearless spirit, adds fuel. Sir Michael's right. Silence is the real killer. Better to belt it out than bottle it up. The Young Guns alliance tips the scales, the room tilting toward rebellion, boos mingling with bravos in a discordant symphony. Christine, usually serene, can't hide her discomfort, shifting as if the heat's too much for her cool aesthetic, yet she murmurs agreement on art's activist roots, her voice a whisper in the whirlwind. I fight back with what's last stand. Michael, if this is blowing doors off, I'm ducking for cover. Next you'll say my red chair's a throne of privilege. The line gets a titter, but it's drowned in your rebuttal, a torrent on tokenism, on how shows like mine tokenize diversity without dismantling the doors you blew wide. The producer's signals flash frantic in my earpiece. Wrap it, but the train's derailed, careening toward catastrophe.